typical day right now as an M1, I get to class or get to campus pretty early in the morning. I like to kind of get situated, gather my thoughts, and put my thinking cap on, so to speak, for the day. So typically I get here about a half an hour before class starts and get myself settled in and look over what different classes we have that day. I don't necessarily go through and read all the PowerPoints ahead of time, but it's nice to just know what's coming at us for that day. Typically in the morning we have 2 or 3 sessions right in a row, depending on whether, like today we had a TBL, so we spent quite a few hours this morning working through a TBL with our group, which is a longer session. If we don't have one of those, it's typically broken into smaller lectures, anywhere from about an hour to an hour and a half. And then we get a nice long lunch break. They like to give us a lot of what they call white space, but lunch breaks fill up very fast. So even though we have a 2-hour lunch break, most of them are spent either doing meeting for a campus organization or just meeting with classmates to work through an upcoming assignment for a TBL, things like that. And when I do actually have free time, I like to get some personal stuff like knocked out of the way as far as making phone calls and paying bills, just the everyday stuff that has to get taken care of. Afternoons, typically same thing, 1 or 2 classes depending on the length of time, and then we spend 1 or 2 days a week in the anatomy lab, which is great. It's obviously a very hands-on experience, and it just is great to kind of make the connection between the book and the lecture with our actual cadavers. So it's a great experience to get in there and sort of touch and be tactile and work with the specimens in the lab. And then there are some afternoons where we don't have class, where there's independent study time assigned, which is a great to work ahead or go back and revisit lecture notes. I like to take notes just because the physicality of writing in a notebook versus taking notes on my PowerPoint, for me, is part of my learning style. So there's lots of opportunities to work independently or work with a group if that's how you learn best and need to function as a student. But they're very accommodating and allow that time in there for the schedule for students of all learning types.